Hello, social media, internet, and writing world. This is Sergio, also known as Serge, also known as Serena Lucio, and I have something to open. Yeah, it took 7 days for my novel to come to me, and I wrote it. But I wanted to make a video here where my reaction to opening my novel for the first time and seeing its physical carnal form in my arms and with my own eyes. I wanted to film my reaction. I told Gustavo Del Rio that I'm probably gonna cry. Funny, I didn't cry when I opened Silverwater, but Wing is different. Wing is a bigger part of my soul. It's just so much deeper. It's so much more emotional. It's so much more violent and controversial. But without further ado, I'm gonna open it. So I already ripped it a little bit. So. You know, I never celebrated Christmas, so I never opened Christmas tree presents or whatever. But this is real. Oh. I'll show it to you. It has a quote on the back. The quote. It says, "If you had one wing and someone else had one wing, could you two hold each other so tight and beat your wings so hard and so fast that you'd fly away together?" Walt, my main character. It's beautiful. It's got the spine. Naomi McGowan. God, I'm glad you're part of my family, and I'm glad we're friends too. It's got that new book smell. You know, most people my age, mid-30s, you know, early 30s, y'all have kids. Y'all have been married maybe a few times. But this is got the table of contents that Naomi put in there. I know it's 60 chapters, but damn, you know, they're short chapters, okay, people? Very short. It's only 182 pages overall. God, this is beautiful. Look at the font. Naomi really put her heart and soul into that. Well, even if Naomi shit it, this is still good, better than most designers I've ever known or met. You know, I'm in to talk about the book a little bit more in this video. God, I just want to talk about what went into this book, not necessarily the book itself, you know, not necessarily Walt and, you know, the disability civil rights movement and the revolution they had for the disabled and you know, the march and wheel on Washington, the dogs ripping people out of wheelchairs because Bull Connor levels of bullshit, you know, and kind of want to talk about, you know, how progressive left people joined to be against the disability civil rights movement. It's all there. It's dark and it's surreal. This is the cockroach that narrates the story. I asked Naomi to make the cockroach beautiful, and she did. And the cockroach has a wing, so, you know. For the most part, God, I wrote this 5 years ago. The first draft I finished 5 years ago, and I've fucked with this thing. I've changed so many names, so many places, so many paragraphs, so much. I wrote this for 5 years at least, probably 6. Does anybody have any idea what it's like to be committed to something or someone or some concept for 5 years, maybe 6 of your life? I've known marriages that so far that have not lasted that long. I've known people that can't stay at jobs that long, you know. Even other writers, it's like, you know, yeah, you know, damn well, if you're a creative person, we are friends. If you're a writer, whew, we are close already, trust me. But I know so many people who have done creative things or who are creative people, but they can't explain the depth, the complexity, and even the darkness of why they do what they do. I'm going to try to explain it a little bit to you all in a short amount of time. But if I have anybody who's listening who's ever lost a child, and I'm sorry if you have, especially with Mother's Day coming up, you had a child die or be taken from you from whatever reason, that's how I feel. I know that sounds weird and crazy, but you know, and it's no secret that I lost my mother and my father and my sister Lulu, my disabled sister Lulu, 9 years ago and counting. And this left such a huge hole. You know, my Uncle Jerry and my Tia Tamra and Adrian and Vanessa and many other people I've ever met have helped fill that hole, that progenitor hole, that parent hole, but losing Lulu was different. I felt protective of her since I was so young, like in early elementary school, when I'd get into fights with people like Brad for making fun of her. When I understood that, you know, it took a village to raise a child, well, how much of a village does it take to raise a child with special needs? And the answer is not enough that the village can offer. Not enough that Gary, Indiana, the United States, anywhere. So I created in this book a school and a revolution for my sister, a world that I think would be wonderful for her to live and thrive in. And it got destroyed, maybe rightly so. Read it, you'll find out. But when I lost my sister 9 years ago, it's like I lost a child. And nobody, not even collectively any of you, no offense, have been able to fill that void. Wing has partially filled it, okay? Just partially. You know, maybe this is just Sergio's way to make himself feel better, and it's just cathartic, and there are some writers that, you know, creative people that need to do that, and that doesn't always equate good art, to be fair. Don't know yet with Wing. Whatever your reasons are for creating, money, fame, fluff, having fun, making yourself feel better, you know, prophesizing to the masses about whatever your agenda of what you think is right or important, not just right-wingers, you left-wingers too. Yeah, I fall into all those categories, to be fair, okay? I'm human. But there's something big about releasing Wing now, especially during the grave illness, especially now that I'm getting older, and you know, maybe Wing in my writing career has cost me. Maybe it's cost me, you know, spouses, relationships I had with people, friendships, potential having children, some dream home, or even just a shitty townhouse that I'd own. Maybe it costs me investing in the stock market or getting some kind of big payday with some big job, with some white collar, with, you know, doing some big activism thing and going to the Democratic National Convention. Maybe it's cost me being, I don't know, a vegan or an animal rights activist or something. I don't know. Maybe it's cost me way more than I think. But opening this right now and seeing it and looking at it and just understanding that this is real. It grew inside me for, you know, 5 to 6 years, and it's here in front of me in physical form. It is me. It's got me on the back. And I've been thinking about this for a week since I published Wing. And what I would say in this video, looks like I didn't cry. I almost did, but my advice to, if you even want to hear my advice sometimes, is, you know, like King Lear, speak what we feel, not what we ought to say, and put parts of your soul out there, put bigger parts of your soul out there, you know? And then when it gets shit on, when it gets ignored, when nobody cares, when you don't get back the people and the places and the things you love, the money, the fame, whatever, put it out there again. Like this. And keep putting it out there. Okay? There's so much I want to say in this video to try to help understand Wing and the forces and events that shape us and why we're a creator. But I don't know. I don't even know how to express it funny. I wrote 74,000 words here and 72,000 words with Silver Water and multi-millions of words my entire life so far. Good God, for 20 years, people have no idea how much I've written. I love it more than life itself sometimes. My soulmate's out there. I have this weird feeling I already know my soulmate and I'm just too dumb or too scared to realize that they are my soulmate and I am theirs. But I forgot where I was going with that, but it doesn't matter. I wanted to make sure this was real and that Wing is legit and real. And it's going to cause a lot of controversy, okay? If you're a big, autism awareness person, you wear the puzzle pieces and stuff, it's probably going to piss you off because there's a lot of criticism of activism of people in the disabled community or the people with disabilities. There's also criticism of that. I don't give a shit. I grew up with my sister the first 16 years of my life and she's severely, profoundly disabled from birth, and there is no cure, there never will be, and there is no activism for her. And there's nothing wrong with understanding that there are people who have it worse than us and they need more love, time, attention, money, energy than us, okay? And if all a person does is kind of advocate for passing privilege, I'm speaking more of like specifically like higher functioning autism and Asperger's and so on, because that tends to be very trendy the past few years. Check yourself. There's a good chance you're the ableist and the bigot and the prejudiced person, and there's a good chance I'm not. And Wing addresses that very, very directly, okay? And if you don't agree with it, go ahead, write a thesis. Go ahead, even if you have degrees in this shit. Trust me,